Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is going to be between Novella, who's starting at the 6 o'clock position as the yellow Terran. 12 o'clock position we have Xeris starting as the red protoss. Hopefully we'll clear up the lag. Right now, UCI up 1-0. David Kim, who I would say is actually probably one of the aces for UCSD, losing early. Xeris starting at the 12 o'clock position. He's another one of the high-level players for them, the head of Team Pandemic, the leader. He's got to win this for the team. It's the team pride thing going on. But pretty big win for UCI, really kind of setting the stage, especially on a map that tends not to favor Protoss players, tends to be favorable toward Zerg players. That's pretty significant, I got to say, on the map. This match is one of those maps that really favors Protoss style of play, and I think it's really going to be difficult for any Terran up against Xeris. Novella is going to have his work cut out for him, essentially, because he's on Destination, Protoss favored map against Xeris, who's extremely strong against Terran players. Honestly, I think his best bet would just be to attempt some sort of cheese right off the stage. And Xeris tends to go for a very safe style of play, so I expect it to be a little bit of a long match and interesting first supply depot. I don't think that's actually going to provide, well, we'll see how he builds it after this, but I don't think that's going to provide solid coverage across this entire map. Hopefully I'm not the one creating the lag. Seeing out an SCV scout, just wanted to check a little bit for proxy, go from there. Obviously he doesn't know his opponent Xeris. Xeris almost never cheeses. He's a very, very safe player. He immediately goes in tries to build basically towards late game arbiters. He's very strong on arbiters, and Destination being a very strong arbiter map, it's really going to favor him. We'll see what he decides to open with. I think he's just going to open up pretty standard and pretty safely and go for a little bit of early Dragoon, a little bit of early containment. That's one big benefit. I really feel like any map where vultures in the mid-game are kind of minimized, you're going to have trouble as a Terran player. And ultimately, I think that's what we're going to end up seeing here. Xeris basically taking the early front ground with some Dragoons, not necessarily wanting to put on early pressure, but just wanting to make sure that he maintains some map control across that natural expansion so he can take 3 bases without too much trouble, and from there just basically pin the troops in. And that's the other thing is at that 9 o'clock location, from Xeris' perspective, you only need 2 or 3 Dragoons to defend that base against Vulture harasses. So Vulture is very minimized, and you really have to stick to 2-base play as a Terran player or any player overall, just because of the way the map's constructed. So no Vultures, and once you have that 6 factory, I don't know. We'll see what he can do with it, though. So it looks like 1 gate cybernetics core, and pretty and playing pretty from there. I should probably go into D&D. Someone messaged, one of the people, well, message CSL Thienan if there's any problem with the live stream, by the way. So then you can pass that message on to me. So it looks like that front door is going to be created just a little bit forward of a barracks. I think that barracks can actually get nailed from the position it's at, kind of sticking out like that. Should Dragoons move to that position, I don't think the Marines or even the tank are going to be able to range against that, and that barracks can actually get hit from Dragoons, essentially I think on the ramp, as long as they have sight. So basically what you can do is you can move a Dragoon right here, have a Dragoon on the ramp, start firing against it, and I don't think that tank can range and see. It looks like it actually, never mind, it's going to be lifted off. Let's see if a scout's going to, no, it's going to be landed right back in position just to get that SCV scout back in. There's that first factory, and it looks like Xeris is going to play a little bit more economical, just 1 gate tech thus far to get that first Dragoon, to get that SCV out of his base. Let's see if he decides to go for a Reaver Harass right off the bat. Really, again, I think it's a little bit more intelligent to just do 2 gate into expansion, just to play off that Dragoon fervor. But again, Xeris is very strong against Terran. He's got a pretty good Reaver Harass, and if he really wants to punish like any sort of early economic play, the opposite end, he's almost able to delay an SCV right there. Kind of a weird pylon of that front position. Let's see if he cancels it, because that might do some movement problems later in this match. Or if Xeris actually just goes 1 gate into expansion, because right now not showing any signs of, first of all, canceling that cybernetic score to get a Reaver out a little bit faster, and it looks like he actually is doing what I'm suggesting. I think he's going 2 gate here. Again, I just assumed 2 gate into expansion. Another SCV really thinking about cheese here, moving out to the 3 o'clock location, making sure that there's nothing proxy. 3 Marines on the front door. Now that barracks actually being pulled back altogether to leave that a bit exposed. This is actually going to be a pretty intelligent maneuver, and actually might even want to spread his wall out, get another supply depot right there. This is actually going to be a pretty intelligent maneuver, because essentially don't have to, you saw that gate come down extremely late, you know you're only up against 1 gate tech, you've got to assume your Protoss opponent's going for something more economical, that he's not going to cancel that cybernetic score, especially when he had that scout in so late. There's the natural expansion here from Xeris. So right now, just try to play the economic game as best you can. It looks like we're going to see one factory siege into expand, and just a couple dragoons I don't think Xeris is really all that concerned about punishing this. He's again really going to be concerned more about stopping movement into the mid game, and unfortunately not able to stop this SCV scout here. And that SCV scout able to just wander into the natural secondary, not going to get to the main, but really doesn't need to after seeing that expansion. And actually, an additional scout looks like another scout again, just watching out for a little bit of cheese here, but we still might see some cheese that he missed because we got a probe here at the 9 o'clock. Now 5 Marines, we might see 6 Marines. This is kind of a odd combination. It almost looks like a fake double with the amount of Marines, but that's just slowing down that command center a little bit. And additionally, that command center is going to be slowed down from all this time that SCV, both these SCVs were out in the field. Might see some proxy tech on this side from Novella. He's got an SCV in position to do it. Hopefully Xeris, this is one thing I remember at the team dinner they were talking about it constantly, is just put pylons in the back of your base. Let's see if Xeris ends up actually getting some sort of factory here. It looks like he does have a probe at the outward location. He's got a pylon here to the 9 o'clock, maybe thinking about drop right here. Vulture was able to sneak through, which is going to create a little bit of trouble for Xeris, and a bunker on the front door as well, which absolutely isn't necessary. So especially with the 2 mines, so it looks like Novella playing extremely defensively. That Vulture not able to stop this probe here at the 9 o'clock. It looks like he's going to be able to see that SCV as well and kind of catch Novella's tempted cheese, and it looks like that Vulture might be able to sneak out. Takes a little bit of extra damage, but not able to get anything done otherwise. And Xeris should be able to kill that SCV without too much trouble, so that'll keep it back from base. This command center extremely delayed. Xeris is going to have a pretty sizable economic advantage. The Vulture's still going to be spotted across that 9 o'clock, and he does have a little bit of map control. This is where Xeris really wants to try to pay attention to this natural expansion. This natural secondary for Novella. Just try to keep an eye out on it to try to push these Vultures back, make sure these Vultures don't keep escaping so they don't harass him on that natural expansion like this. So it looks like another Vulture is going to be able to kind of sneak out. Second factory being placed. Doesn't look like we're seeing any starport at this stage to do any sort of Vulture drop. But really, Xeris needs to. It looks like he was a little bit too distracted, and instead he's just going to go for a quick 3 base. Still, we might see a couple kills. That Vulture might be able to. It's only a single Vulture, but he might be able to press his way in, and without a little. Well, he's going to be able to stop a little bit of an expansion there. But Xeris actually pretty well contained. Wish he moved these dragoons a little bit further back to make sure that nothing can get across that bridge or really scout there. But yeah, Xeris is just going to play it straight up economically. He's got 4 dragoons on the front. There's no way he's going to get pressed there, and he's way economically ahead of Novella right now. And Novella almost crushing his own tank. That's kind of weird little hitbox happening there. Vulture not getting anything done. Knows that there's 2 dragoons there, but that might not key Novella off. He might be thinking, oh, he's just trying to, is going to be able to get a probe kill though as it comes across the field. Might just be thinking, oh, he was there because he was killing that SCV scout and that was coming out in the field. I don't know that he's really going to have a big indicator that, oh, that's the 3rd base, even though that is